folks, good to see everybody. Let's get things rolling so we can chat a little bit about where we're at. So number one on our agenda is approval of the agenda. Be it resolved that the Clearview Youth Center Advisory Committee hereby approves the agenda dated February 2nd, 2021 as presented. We need a mover and a seconder. Mary moving, seconded by Caitlin. All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, you're gonna have to do the verbal. Yeah, perfect. That passes. Number two, disclosure of pecuniary interests and the nature thereof. If anyone has any area of an issue comes up throughout the meeting that people need to remove themselves, just let it know. The approval of the previous December 1st, 2020. I don't know if we had quorum that meeting, but in any case, the meetings were sent out by Kayla there. So we need a be it resolved that the Clearview Youth Center Advisory Committee hereby approves the minutes dated December 1st, 2020 as presented. Mover, Robert, seconder, Mary, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Great. Any business arising from those minutes? Probably not. I think we've all been on standby just waiting to hear what's next. And so turn things over. Oh, Caroline?
Oh, no, sorry. I don't know
okay.
what happened.
Yeah, no worries. And so to turn things over to Courtney, just to see kind of what she's heard, where she's at, what's next, and any updates she has for us.
Excellent. Yeah, so like I said, I didn't really do a written report. It's more, I'm just going to kind of highlight where we are. I'd love to say where we're going, but nobody really knows today nor tomorrow when we're able to reopen. So we are closed. All the facilities in Clearview are closed, especially recreational facilities. The really nice thing is when we can reopen, we are ready to go, which is the great thing. So all that work that we did in the summer to reopen, that all stands, which is great. So it'll meet all the health unit guidelines if we just roll back to the same kind of framework. So we are closed, ready to open when we're allowed. And we're hoping maybe even the school announcement tomorrow might give us some clarity on that, which will be good. So right now we are actually, as of tomorrow, I'm delivering the February activity kits. So we had another 50. It's still being really popular. So we're continuing with that. And we're just working on plans right now to do, instead of a March kit, we're going to do a March break activity kit. And so it's going to be kind of bigger hands-on activities in place of like March break programming, because it's just too difficult to know today whether we'll be in person on March break. And if we are open in person on March break, more than likely we'll still be very limited to numbers. And so to be able to create a inclusive program, we do via the kit, we can have 50 youth participate versus maybe only would be able to access a center like when we were open in the fall. And then basically a really exciting thing is I think I did update everybody that we did go to council for additional staffing support, and it was approved. So we're really, really happy about that. So that's going to be a full-time permanent position in addition to Felicia and I. So we'll go from 1.5 to 2.5. So it's really, we really saw the challenges again, especially with COVID. You have to have 2 people. There is no doubt on trying to manage even 8 youth during COVID. And it's just it was always our basis. If you look at any industry standard, it's always 2 adults or supervisory type of positions with any kind of youth or vulnerable people. So the idea will be moving forward that will always now have to be and will be like a two on the schedule anytime we're open or anytime we have a program, which is really great. Hiring timeline, which somebody may be interested in that. We don't really have a hiring timeline right now. It's really going to be dependent on, we would never bring that position on until we knew that we would be able to utilize them. And so I know when my position was approved, I was not hired until June. So my thought is it might be a similar timeline, but it's all, again, going to really depend on if we can open. And those onboarding processes can take a little bit. So we are just so happy that council supported us. And we are happy to, when that position can come on board, to have them come on board probably, I would say probably summer, maybe a little later, depending on what happens. So, and that's basically it for me, unless anyone has any questions.
Courtney, have any of the regulars like been able to reach out, or like, I don't know if there's a vehicle for them if they wanted to connect with someone at the youth center to connect, like to hear from any of these kids? Or
Yeah, so we do chit chat with them once in a while on like Instagram. So they'll send us like a private message. I have regulars that I reach out to get them connected to the LGBTQ night we're still doing virtually with Ali at the Gilbert Center.
Nice.
And actually the last one, Ali had 7 youth from Stainer come on to the call, which is really great.
Yeah.
And once they're in, they call it, what's the name? The Concord, or it's some sort of online platform that it's a secure online chat group of some sort that they use through the Gilbert Center. And once they're in it, they can join other conversations, and they can all the youth that are a part of LGBTQ across Simcoe County can all chat with one another. And so far last month, there were 7 that came on that night. And Ali said it just kind of grows from there because they really see the benefit of being able to connect on that online community. So we're really happy to be able to continue that program as well virtually. So to answer your question, yeah, we do chat with them, or and with the kits too. We don't chat with them in person, but we talk to them via email, and they know we're here. It's hard getting the engagement though. It's they're on the computer all day with school. They don't really want to chat via like programs at night. So yeah, I think what we're doing is working, and they know where we are.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that there's something going like that virtual connection, like you described, because that's the one thing I thought that vehicle doesn't exist really otherwise. Like, we've got kids who might be in a classroom online now with them all being at home, but they're not chatting, they're not communicating because they've got their teacher there in the room, and they don't have that time when they'd step out of the class and have their break or have their lunch and they'd meet in the cafeteria. Like, that's not happening unless they have their own, like, I mean, I know that some kids will have their own method, right? They'll be on Discord, or they'll have their own Instagram or chat group. But there's those other kids who maybe aren't part of that community, who might just kind of see a friend sitting there in the cafeteria and say, hey, how's it going? And have that interaction. Right now, they're not interacting with anyone besides just that, like, sitting in a room and listening to the teacher through their speaker, right? So
yeah, and we could certainly retry like the Zoom calls. We tried them the last time, I guess, over the summer. We got a couple kids, but not much. But I mean, we can certainly try to integrate it again and see if we could, get them back on board, or at least offer it. But yeah, just from our experience, there wasn't a ton of uptake. But I mean, the feedback from the kits is phenomenal. And just being able to bring like recreation and services into their homes. And just the family connection we're hearing of, being able to do things together, mom and daughter get to make cupcakes together, and just being able to offer that is nice. So I think we're helping to create a little bit of connection within the home as well.
Do you think that kid idea might be, oh, sorry, Mary, do you want to ask?
No, I was just going to say, like, I'm not surprised that the Zoom thing didn't go maybe well over the summer, because I mean, there was an opportunity still. Kids could get outside, well, adults could get outside. You could socially distance and see each other. But I mean, I'm getting a little squirrely myself because I live alone and I can't go outside and hang out with people. So maybe would it be worthwhile, I don't know, surveying maybe the people that use the kits to say, do you think this is worthwhile? I have one niece, she's 15, and she's just beside herself because it's just her and her mom and her dad, and she doesn't see any of her friends, and she's a little bit of an introvert. So I don't know, I'm thinking of kids like that. So maybe if you do some
Yeah.
kind of a survey to see if it's worthwhile rather than put it out there and then you find out that it's a bust and the 2 people that come can't have it anymore.
Mhm.
Just a
Yeah,
suggestion.
well, and even if it honestly was just 2 kids, or 2 youth, we would still continue it. So I think we can just probably look at like, once or twice a night. I know if you look at like the Aurelia Youth Center, that's what they're doing, is just having like chats. It's like an hour twice a week, where youth can kind of pop in and chat and update, and that's kind of those touch points. So yeah, we can certainly look at doing that again. See if we get any interest. I'm just hoping we can be in person soon,
Yeah.
because that would be much better. Oh my gosh, I was really surprised by just the lineups of the youth that wanted to come in, and that they were just so sad that we had to close again, because they really just wanted to be there in person, and they didn't care that they had to wear a mask or that they had to follow all the social distancing. They just wanted to be there with something to do. So I know I can't. I did actually. So one other thing, before the large lockdown, there was that period when some things were closed, but the schools were still open. And I went to the health unit with like a proposition, because to try to keep the youth center open. And we were advised against it. So we did try to stay open, but again, we just have to follow those suggestions and recommendations, and and do our best to connect. So no, I think it's a great suggestion, and I think we have to at least try it again.
I think that, this experience over the last 11 months and the different incarnations we've seen of various lockdowns has opened people's eyes to so many things. Like even the kid who you might have said, like who might have told you a year ago, oh, I love being online. I could spend my whole life online. All I do is game with my friends anyways. They're the first to say, let's get back to school because this is crazy. This doesn't work for me. Like people are recognizing the full weight of what it means to be disconnected, and people just need to reconnect. And I'm just waiting for some good news and lights at the end of this tunnel, but it's been a long haul.
And even when we were open, they weren't using the computers. They were playing ping pong,
Yeah.
or playing pool, or doing the crafts or the activities or the games that we had. And the youth center is, it's looking so good. And we've had it because of all that reopening money we got from the United Way, through the emergency community benefit grant. I don't think that's the proper word of the grant name, but anyways, we were able to update all sorts of stuff. So we have like wonderful things now, amenities, and the youth were loving it while they were there. And so we just can't wait for them to love it again when they can come back and connect with each other. And even we got like we got a few of the Nintendo Switch Lites. So that's the handheld gaming device, but they can connect and like play together. And you'll see them sitting around, playing together or having little competitions on them. And so it's really great. And we wouldn't have been able, if we didn't get that influx of support from United Way, we wouldn't have been able to have done a lot of that. So it was almost a good timing for us. So yeah.
Any other questions for Courtney? Okay. Great. Any new business that we want to bring while we're here together? Probably not, since we don't have any next steps plans established. Okay. Well, then let's talk about next meeting. We had talked a bit about a kind of every other month sort of idea. And that's why, since it's been so long since we connected, I thought it was good that we still just touch base. And unless anybody has an objection, I would suggest that we set our next meeting for April at whatever date would make sense on the calendar. I don't know whether Kayla can tell us what day it would normally fall on in April, but
If you move to the Tuesday, the first Tuesday, it'd be the 6th.
so if we go Tuesday, April the 6th as our next meeting, again, hopefully we've got good news by then, and hopefully some restrictions have been lifted and we can get a sense of are things looking a little more back to normal and see where we're at. Everyone okay with that idea?
Yep, that's the Tuesday after Easter.
Oh, okay. Tuesday. Okay, perfect then. And the 4:30, does that work for everybody?
Yes,
Everybody
it
here
does.
at least. Yeah. Okay, Good. Well, let's stick with that then. And then I guess just our adjournment. So we need a mover to adjourn our meeting. Caitlin, and a seconder.
I can second.
Caroline, great. All in favor?
Aye.
Great. All right. Well, thanks everybody. I really appreciate people taking the time to connect. It was good to see some faces. It's been too long, and hopefully good news on the way, and that we'll see kids at the youth center sooner than later. Okay.